The galaxy believed humanity was gone, burned from the stars and buried beneath the dust of its ruined homeworld. Alien fleets hovered over the shattered remains of Earth, their banners glowing cold and cruel. The war was over, or so they thought. From orbit, the alien commander of the Zareth Dominion stood tall inside his command vessel, watching Earth's cracked surface through the viewport. "It's finished," he said, his voice proud and sharp. "The Deathworlders have fallen." Across the Galactic Council channels, messages of triumph echoed. Every race celebrated the extinction of the only species that ever made them afraid. But far below, beneath the surface of the moon, silence hid something ancient. In a forgotten bunker sealed for decades, dim lights flickered to life. A mechanical voice whispered through static. "Operation Phoenix Protocol, activated." Commander Rain Holt awoke to the cold hum of machines, her body weak from cryosleep. She blinked through the frost on the glass chamber. The alarms were faint but steady. The system had finally called her name. She stepped out slowly, her boots echoing on metal floors. Her eyes moved across a massive chamber filled with pods, all dark, all silent. She was the first one awake. She walked to the control panel and saw the screen flash red. Lines of data scrolled fast. Earth destroyed. Fleets terminated. Survivors unknown. Rain gritted her teeth, her heart heavy but unbroken. "They think we're gone," she whispered to herself. "Good, let them believe that." She pressed her palm on the console and the lights began to glow brighter. Ancient systems stirred. The hum of power crawled through the tunnels. Deep beneath, the command AI, Helios, came online, its voice calm and steady. "Welcome back, Commander Holt. Planetary communication is offline. Enemy presence detected in the Sol system. Awaiting your command." Raya Ayn took a deep breath, her mind racing with memories of the last battle. The day the aliens broke Earth's shield and cities burned under their plasma fire. She remembered her crew screaming through static. Her family's final message before the sky fell. She looked at the monitor again and said, "Helios, status of the Dreadnought fleet." There was silence for a moment. Then the AI replied, "The Terran Dreadnoughts remain dormant in Saturn's shadow. Power cores stable. Weapons offline, awaiting manual activation." Rain smiled faintly, the kind of smile born from despair mixed with defiance. "Then it's time to wake the giants," she whispered. Outside, the alien fleets were still celebrating. They sent holo-recordings of Earth's ruins to their homeworlds, showing how the mighty humans begged for mercy. They called it the Day of Cleansing, a holiday for generations to remember. In the Galactic Council chamber, hundreds of alien leaders gathered, towering forms of different races, scaled, feathered, and armored. Their voices filled the hall. "Humanity is gone. The Deathworlders are no more," one counselor shouted, and the chamber erupted in cheers. But not all of them felt peace. One elder of the Tharan species spoke in a trembling voice. "We should not have pushed them so far. Humans adapt. Humans survive. That is what they do." The others laughed. "You fear ghosts," they said. "There is nothing left." Back in the moon base, Rain walked through the dark corridors, the emergency lights guiding her steps. She found a sealed door marked Command Core Access. She placed her wrist on the scanner. It flashed green, and the door opened with a hiss. Inside was a single chair facing a holographic map of the solar system. Red dots filled the screen, alien fleets surrounding every planet. But near Saturn, there were faint blue signals blinking, each representing a sleep-in. "O Dreadnought, humanity's last hope." She sat down and spoke. "Helios, prepare secure transmission to all surviving Terran frequencies. Encryption level Omega." "Confirmed," the AI replied. The sound of static filled the room. Then Rain began to speak, her voice steady but fierce. "To any Terran ship, any human survivor, this is Commander Rain Holt of Earth Defense Command. We are not defeated, we are not gone, we endure. The Dreadnoughts will rise again. Stand by for activation order." Across the void, the faint echoes of her signal traveled, passing through debris fields and silent planets, reaching forgotten outposts where a few human survivors lived in hiding. Some cried, some laughed, others simply whispered, "She's alive." On one of those outposts, a young engineer named Cade listened to the transmission, his eyes wide with hope. "Dreadnoughts," he muttered. "They survived. He turned to his small crew. Get the ship ready, we're going home. Meanwhile, in the alien command fleet, strange energy readings appeared near Saturn. A young sensor officer frowned and called his superior. Sir, I'm detecting something. Massive power spikes from the outer system. The commander waved his hand, unimpressed. Probably radiation echoes, ignore it, the humans are dust. But far away, deep within the shadow of Saturn's rings, metal groaned, and light began to crawl across the surface of colossal machines buried under ice and rock. One by one, the Terran Dreadnoughts started to wake, their engines glowing like small suns. On the moon, Rain stood before the viewport, watching the stars, her eyes calm, her voice quiet. They think we are defeated, Helios, she said. The AI's golden eye pulsed softly. They are mistaken, Commander. Rain looked out into the dark, her reflection blending with the distant light of Earth. Then let's remind them who we are, she whispered. And somewhere in the endless void, the first Terran Dreadnought opened its eyes, its name painted in old Terran script across its hull. TDS Nemesis, the Gala. XY celebrated humanity's end, but humanity had only begun to rise again. The void around Saturn was quiet, silent as if the universe itself held its breath. In the darkness, massive shapes drifted beneath the frozen rings, covered in ice and dust. They looked like mountains lost in space, forgotten by time. But inside them, something ancient began to stir. Commander Rain Holt stood before the main control display inside the lunar command bunker. The flickering screen showed multiple blue lights, faint but alive. Each light was a Terran Dreadnought, the last of humanity's war giants. Helios, she said. Confirm system status of the Dreadnought fleet. The AI's voice echoed through the chamber, calm and unshaken. 72 Dreadnoughts detected, power cores charging, awakening sequence initiated, primary flagship TDS Nemesis at 75% operational capacity. Rain watched the numbers climb, her heart steady but her eyes cold. Good, she whispered. Wake them all. Thousands of kilometers away, deep inside the frozen core of Saturn's shadow, the TDS Nemesis shuddered, its engines humming after decades of silence. Its hull cracked open sheets of frozen ice that had gathered over centuries. The massive cannons along its spine glowed faintly blue, systems reactivating one after another. Inside the ship, automated drones began repairing circuits, sealing hull breaches and recharging plasma drives deep in the heart of the ship. A single cryochamber opened. A man gasped for air, eyes snapping open after a long sleep. His name was Captain Elias Ward, commander of the Terran Dreadnought fleet. He stumbled forward, his breath fogging in the cold air. Helios link active, said a voice over the internal comms. Welcome back, Captain Ward. Ward looked around, confusion mixed with instinct. How long has it been? He asked. 74 years, 2 months, is 21 days, the AI replied. The captain's face hardened. And Earth? He asked quietly. There was silence. Then the AI said, destroyed. Ward closed his eyes for a moment, the memory of his home flashing before him, his family, his city, the smell of rain on Earth's soil, all gone, his fists clenched. Then we do what humans always do, he said, his voice deep and steady. We rebuild, we fight. Back on the moon, Rain was connected to every system through Helios. Her hologram flickered before the captain aboard the Nemesis. Elias, she said. It's Rain Holt. His eyes widened slightly. You survived? I did, she answered. And so did our war machines. Ward smirked faintly, the fire of the old Terran fleet returning to his eyes. Then it's time to remind the galaxy why they feared the Deathworlders. Rain nodded. The aliens think we are extinct. Their fleets are orbiting Mars, and their council has declared victory. They broadcast our defeat on every channel. Ward laughed once, a hollow sound. Then let's send them a reply they'll never forget. He turned to the ship's command AI. Bring engines online, start synchronization with the rest of the fleet, power up primary weapons, and open a secure channel to all Terran Dreadnoughts. Across the dark edges of space, one by one, giant ships awoke, their reactors humming with ancient power, TDS Vengeance, TDS Horizon, TDS Aurora, each one glowing blue as plasma conduits filled with energy. Inside the fleet's communication hub, Ward's voice echoed across all channels. This is Captain Elias Ward, commander of the Terran Dreadnought fleet. To all Terran personnel, we are no longer in hiding. Humanity stands again, and the stars will remember our name. On distant outposts, small human crews cheered, tears streaming down their faces as they heard the old military frequency return to life. "We're back," one whispered. "We're finally back." Meanwhile, in the alien command fleet above Mars, the sensor officer frowned again. "Sir, the readings have increased. Energy spikes from the outer system, same coordinates as before." The alien commander sighed, annoyed. "You're seeing ghosts. The humans are finished. There's nothing left." But as he turned away, his screens flashed violently. Multiple energy signatures appeared, enormous in scale, far too coordinated to be natural. He froze. "Wait, what is that?" he whispered. Then a faint transmission broke through the interference, a female voice speaking through encrypted Terran code. It was Rain, her message simple. "You declared us defeated, but humanity does not die, it waits." Within moments, the alien fleet went on high alert, hundreds of ships turning their sensors towards Saturn. But by the time they saw the first dreadnought emerging from the shadows, it was already too late. The TDS Nemesis moved forward, its massive hull shining like a black sun. The ship was kilometers long, armor thick enough to crush asteroids. Along its sides, glowing lines pulsed like veins of fire. The dreadnought's main gun, the Starbreaker cannon, charged for the first time in nearly a century. In the moon base, Rain watched it unfold. "Helios," she said softly, "send out the awakening code to all dreadnoughts." "Transmission sent," the AI confirmed. "Dreadnought fleet now at full operational status." All across the void, engines roared like thunder. Light flared brighter than any star. The dark side of Saturn was illuminated by the awakening of 72 Terran warships, their formation perfect, their intent clear. Captain Ward looked out through the command window of the Nemesis, his voice low but filled with purpose. "We were silent too long," he said. "Now, the galaxy will hear us roar." Rain's voice came through the comms, calm and steady. "The galaxy wanted to erase us," she said. "Now they'll remember us in their nightmares." The Terran fleet began to move, slowly at first, then faster, engines burning through the dark like fire through oil. The humans were returning to war. In the far distance, alien scouts watched in horror as massive ships formed a crescent formation, their hulls glimmering against the rings of Saturn. "They're awake," one whispered, trembling. "The humans, they're awake." And as the Nemesis turned its bow toward the inner planets, its engines flared brighter, lighting the void like dawn breaking across the black sea of stars. The sleeping giants had risen, and the galaxy would never sleep again. The alien fleets orbiting Mars drifted in calm silence, their commanders confident that the humans were nothing but a forgotten shadow. They spoke of victory, of cleansing, of peace restored to the stars, but that peace shattered in an instant. Without warning, the void screamed. A massive energy surge erupted from the far edge of the Sol system. Scanners across the alien fleets went wild. The readings were off the charts, too large, too organized, too powerful to be natural. "Report," barked the alien commander of the Zareth Dominion flagship, his eyes narrowing at the storm of light blooming near Saturn. "Unknown fleet emerging from hyperspace folds," his officer stammered. "Massive tonnage, unknown design, 70-plus capital ships, signatures. Human." The commander froze. "That's impossible," he whispered. But before he could speak again, the stars lit up. The first Terran Dreadnoughts dropped from warp like falling gods, their hulls cutting through the darkness, each one a monument of war. The lead ship, TDS Nemesis, stood at the center, its name glowing like a wound across its black steel. Blue energy veins ran along its sides, alive with ancient fire. Its cannons moved into position, targeting systems locking on every alien vessel within range. Inside the bridge, Captain Elias Ward stood straight, his face calm, his hands clasped behind his back. "All ships in formation," he ordered. "Target Zareth Command Fleet. Weapons hot." The communication screen flickered and Commander Rain Holt appeared from the moon base, her expression unflinching. "They wanted to see humanity's end," she said. "Show them what it looks like when we rise." Ward gave a nod. "Fire," he said quietly. The void turned white. The Starbreaker cannon fired for the first time in a century. The beam of light cut across millions of kilometers, hitting the alien flagship with blinding precision. In an instant, it disintegrated. No explosion, no debris. Just silence and a fading echo of atoms. Every alien commander across the fleet went pale. Their ships scrambled in panic. "Retreat!" One shouted, "It can't be them. It can't be humans." But the humans didn't stop. The dreadnoughts moved as one, their railguns and plasma batteries unleashing firestorms that shredded alien cruisers one after another. The invaders fell like insects before a hurricane. From the Galactic Council core world, live feeds streamed in, showing massive Terran warships tearing through entire armadas. The council chamber erupted in chaos, leaders shouting, denying, panicking. "The Death Worlders were extinct," one screamed. "We destroyed Earth." An elder Tarun counselor rose slowly, his scaled hands trembling. "You destroyed their cities, not their spirit," he said, his voice low. "You cannot kill humanity. They always come back." Meanwhile, on the battlefield, the alien fleets tried to regroup. But the Terran formation was perfect, cold, and unstoppable. They fought like machines with human hearts, their communications silent, their tactics flawless. Inside the Nemesis, Ward watched as enemy after enemy disappeared from the radar. "Status," he asked. 85% of enemy forces neutralized," Helios replied. "Remaining units in retreat." Ward's expression didn't change. "They run now, but they'll bring the council next," he said. Rain's voice came through, calm but sharp. "Let them, they need to understand." As the dreadnoughts advanced toward Mars, the alien cities beneath the surface began evacuations, entire populations fleeing, watching from their screens as giant Terran warships filled the sky, blotting out the sun. One alien child looked up at the dark sky and asked his mother, "Are those monsters?" She held him tight and whispered, "No, child. Those are humans." The fleet surrounded Mars, but they did not fire. Ward gave a single order. "Hold." Rain appeared again through the hololink. "Send the message," she said. Ward nodded. The communication channels opened across the galaxy. Every frequency, every corner of space, human language echoing through the stars. "This is Commander Rain Holt of Earth Defense Command." Her voice echoed, steady as stone. "To every world that raised arms against Earth, you said humanity was defeated, but we are not gone. We are awake, and we remember." The message played across hundreds of systems. Aliens froze where they stood, watching the dreadnoughts shine against the black, silent and terrifying. On the council world, panic turned to fear. "Shut it down," someone shouted. "Cut the broadcast." But the message repeated, unstoppable. "We are the children of a death world. We do not bow. We do not break. We rise." On the moon, Rain stood before the hologram of the fleet, her eyes reflecting the glow of Earth rising behind her. "They wanted the stars for themselves," she said softly. "But the stars belong to all who survive them." Back near Mars, the dreadnoughts began to pull back, leaving behind nothing but silence and awe. The alien survivors watched in disbelief as the human ships vanished into the darkness once more. Inside the Nemesis, Ward stared at the fading planet. "They'll call for peace soon," he said. Rain's voice came through the comms, quiet but firm. "No, they'll call for mercy." Helios's golden eye dimmed. Slightly. "Commander Holt, transmission incoming from the Galactic Council, priority signal they wish to negotiate." Rain turned toward the Earth's reflection in her viewport, her tone cold. "Then they can speak to the ones they tried to erase." The fleet turned toward the stars, engines glowing like fire beneath the rings of Saturn. The Terran Dreadnoughts had returned, and the galaxy trembled before their name. Across the stars, the silence after the battle was louder than war itself. The alien fleets that once circled Earth were gone, destroyed or scattered, and the name of humanity, once mocked, now whispered in fear across every channel in the heart of the Galactic Council. A massive chamber of light and steel floated above the core world of Seraphis Prime. Thousands of alien delegates gathered, their voices rising in panic. Screens all around them showed the destruction of their armadas by the Terran Dreadnoughts. "They were extinct," shouted a blue-skinned diplomat from the Aurelian Republic. "We confirmed it. Their planet was ashes," a reptilian commander hissed back. "Then explain the fleet that annihilated Zareth's armada. Explain the weapons that cut through our shields like vapor." The room erupted into chaos, some shouting for peace, others calling for preemptive strikes. But their words were filled not with courage, only with fear. At the center table, the High Chancellor of the Council, An ancient being with silver eyes stood slowly. "We have awakened something older than our empire," he said softly. "Something that does not forgive." In the shadows, a younger delegate whispered, "They call themselves Death Worlders." The Chancellor nodded, and now we understand why. Meanwhile, in the orbit of Jupiter, the Terran fleet hovered in silence, the dreadnoughts forming a massive ring above the gas giant, their presence alone bending the will of an Aum. Who dared to challenge them. Inside the flagship TDS Nemesis, Captain Elias Ward stood on the bridge, hands clasped behind his back. "Council transmission received," reported Helios, the ship's AI. "They request immediate dialogue with Terran Command." Rain Holt appeared as a hologram beside him, her expression calm, her voice cold. "Dialogue?" she said. "After burning our world? After declaring our extinction?" Ward's tone was steady. "They're afraid." Rain looked toward the distant stars. "Good," she said. "Fear is the first step to understanding." Helios waited. "Shall I open the channel?" Rain nodded. "Yes, let's see what the rulers of the galaxy have to say." The communication channel opened and the image of the High Chancellor appeared, his silver eyes flickering with unease. "Commander Holt," he began, his voice shaking slightly. "We acknowledge that grave mistakes were made. The Council never intended the destruction of your people. The war was—" Rain cut him off. "Do not lie to me," she said quietly, her words sharp as glass. "Your fleets burned our cities. Your soldiers hunted our children. Your council cheered when Earth fell." The Chancellor lowered his head, the silence heavy. "We feared what you might become," he admitted. "Your species grew too fast, too strong, too dangerous." Rain's expression hardened. "And you were right." Ward stepped forward, his deep voice filling the room. "You thought fear could erase us. You thought fire could end us. But humanity was born in struggle. We were shaped by worlds that tried to kill us every day. And yet we thrived." The Chancellor's voice trembled. "We seek peace now, Captain Ward. Please, spare our worlds. We will withdraw all fleets from Sol. We will recognize Earth as sovereign once more." Rain's hologram leaned closer, her eyes cold and bright. "Peace will come," she said slowly, "but not through words, through remembrance." The Chancellor frowned. "Remembrance?" Rain nodded. "Every world that took part in Earth's fall will broadcast one truth for 1,000 days. The truth that humanity was never defeated, that the Council lied, that the Terran spirit endures." The chamber behind the Chancellor erupted in protest, dozens of voices screaming, "Unacceptable! We will not bow to Deathworlders." Rain spoke again, her tone soft but final. "Then the Dreadnoughts will speak for me." She turned to Helios. "Lock targeting coordinates on Council World, full orbital display." The sky above Seraphis Prime darkened. Massive Terran ships appeared from hyperspace, their shadows swallowing the sunlight. Every city on the planet looked up in terror as the Dreadnoughts' engines burned bright red across the horizon. In the Council chamber, the delegates froze, their protests dying in their throats. The High Chancellor looked out his window and whispered, "By the stars." Rain's voice echoed through every speaker in the chamber, calm, steady, merciless. "We do not come to conquer, we come to remind." Then, one by one, the Terran ships turned their weapons away, the cannons dimmed and the engines cooled. The display of power was enough. Humanity had proven its point. Back aboard the Nemesis, Ward watched the readings fall back to normal. "They'll surrender their pride before the day ends," he said quietly. Rain exhaled, her shoulders relaxing slightly. "Let them," she said. "Humility is a beginning." Helios's golden eye flickered. "Commander, multiple transmissions incoming. Several alien worlds are broadcasting apology statements to the Terran channel." Ward gave a faint smile. "So it begins." Rain turned her gaze toward Earth's faint blue glow far in the distance. "We do not want slaves," she said softly. "We want truth, and peace built on respect, not fear." Helios replied, "The end, and the galaxy will finally learn what peace truly means." Rain nodded slowly. Only if they remember. And above Seraphis Prime, the dreadnought fleet slowly vanished into the stars, leaving behind a trembling galaxy and a promise carved into every mind that humanity had returned, not as conquerors but as living legends. The Council would never forget the day the humans demanded not revenge but remembrance, and the stars themselves seemed to whisper the name they had tried to erase. Earth, the galaxy, had gone quiet, the sound of war replaced by the hum of distant stars. For the first time in centuries, every world looked toward the same point in the sky, the faint blue glow of Earth, once forgotten, now reborn. The Terran Dreadnoughts floated across the void like silent guardians, their hulls scarred from ancient battles yet still shining with power. The name of humanity spread like a storm through every broadcast, every channel, every whisper. No one dared to speak against them now, not out of fear, but out of respect. Inside the TDS Nemesis, Captain Elias Ward stood on the observation deck, his eyes locked on the holographic display of the Sol system. Hundreds of blue signals pulsed across the map. Human colonies, survivors, outposts, all coming back online after decades of silence. Helios spoke softly, its golden eye glowing. Reconstruction of orbital stations around Earth is complete. Commander Holt has authorized civilian relocation within the next solar cycle. Ward nodded, his expression thoughtful. It begins again, he said quietly. The rebuilding. From her command chamber on the moon, Rain Holt watched the feed of new cities rising over the ashes, metal towers reflecting the light of a new dawn. Engineers worked beside scientists. Children laughed in the tunnels that once served as bunkers. Humanity was alive again, stronger than ever. She leaned against the console, eyes tired but peaceful. Helios, open a channel to the fleet. All frequencies, Pen, the AI replied. Rain's voice echoed through the ships, clear and calm. To all Terran personnel, this is Commander Holt. The war is over. We have endured the darkness. And now we return to the light. Remember those who fell, honor what we have rebuilt, and never forget who we are. Across every ship, soldiers listened in silence, some with tears in their eyes, others standing at attention, every human heart beating as one. On the distant world of Seraphis Prime, the Galactic Council held a broadcast watched by trillions. The High Chancellor stood before the galaxy, his silver eyes heavy with guilt. We declare before all races, he said slowly, that humanity was never defeated. Their world stands free, and their spirit unbroken. May the stars remember their strength. His words echoed across the void, and for the first time the galaxy bowed its head to Earth. Back aboard the Nemesis, Ward turned to Helios. Send the coordinates of the new Terran colonies to all friendly systems, humanitarian trade routes, cultural exchange. Let them see that we build, not just destroy. Helios processed the command. Transmission sent. Rain appeared on the main screen, her image illuminated by the blue light of Earth's reflection. We won't become what they feared, she said. We'll become what they should have learned from. Ward smiled faintly. Humanity has always been its best after tragedy. Outside, the dreadnoughts began to move into new formations. No longer a fleet of vengeance but of guardianship, they orbited peacefully, protecting not only Earth but the fragile peace now spreading across the galaxy. On one of the rebuilt colonies near Mars, a group of alien children stood in a classroom. Their teacher, a human woman, pointed at an image of Earth. Once, this world was destroyed, she said gently, but its people rebuilt it. Do you know why? A small child had raised her hand, her voice soft. Because they're strong. The teacher smiled. Because they never gave up. Meanwhile, Rain walked through the rebuilt lunar base, her footsteps echoing against steel floors, polished and new. She paused by a large window overlooking Earth, blue and alive beneath swirling clouds, her eyes softened. She remembered the days when this world was burning, the screams, the loss, the endless dark, and she whispered to herself, "We were ashes once, and now we are stars." Helios's voice came through softly. "Commander, incoming message from the children of Mars colony. They are requesting to name their settlement." Rain smiled faintly. "And what name do they want?" Helios paused a moment, They have chosen New Dawn. Rain looked out at Earth's glow again. Approve it, she said quietly, because that's what this is. From the bridge of the Nemesis, Ward watched the fleet drift across the endless night, the stars reflecting on their armored hulls. He turned to his officers. When the Council declared us defeated, I thought it was the end, he said softly. But this is the beginning of something greater. The officer beside him smiled. The galaxy will never forget what we did. Ward nodded slowly, his gaze distant. No, he said. The galaxy will remember who we are. As the Terran Dreadnoughts formed a protective ring around Earth, the night sky shimmered with their blue light like a halo guarding a fragile miracle across countless worlds. Species looked up and saw that light, and somewhere deep inside they felt hope. Because even in their power, the humans showed mercy, and that mercy inspired something new: unity, understanding, peace born not from dominance, but from survival shared among the stars. In the final transmission of the Terran fleet, Rain's voice was heard one last time, carried across the galaxy. They declared humanity defeated, but humanity cannot be defeated, because we are the flame that refuses to die. We or the storm that survives the silence. We are Earth, and the stars will always remember our name. The transmission ended, and the galaxy remained silent, looking up at the glow of a small blue world reborn among the stars, and for the first time in history, the universe whispered not in fear but in awe. Humanity endures,